A lot of people want to know what are the type of clients we are looking for, or does their project fit our model? And that's a really great conversation to have another day. Right now, I want to tell you about when should you not call us. Is that weird that I did that? Today, I'm going to talk about why the 3-bid method cannot work and why you should abandon it completely when considering what team to work with on your home remodel. This 3-bid method is something that I don't know where it started, but it's been around a while. And the idea is if you get 3 bids, one of them will magically float to the surface, and that will be the right one, and everything should go pretty well based on that. The truth is, it doesn't really tell you much, and in almost all instances, gives you faulty, unreliable information. Why is unreliable information bad? Well, in this instance, you're using it to make major decisions for your family about your home. And you're using a free estimate that someone did in order to make that decision. Nothing good can come of this. You know, for starters, it kind of sets people off really with the wrong mindset about how to hire the right team to remodel their house. Inherently, the 3-bid method says price is the most important thing. Why else would you be getting 3 bids? You really can't learn anything else from looking at 3 bids other than which one is more expensive, which one is least expensive. And that alone should not really dictate your decision. You know, people don't make decisions like that for important decisions in their life, in any other area of their life. If they have a special occasion to celebrate, they don't get on Google and say, what's the cheapest restaurant in town? No, they look at a number of things. Quality of food, quality of service, location, experience, ambiance, on and on and on. And that's just for dinner. We're talking about tearing apart your house and putting it back together. And people are going to Google and say, who's the cheapest contractor? Not literally, but they're setting up a method of interviewing contractors that only points you in that direction. You have to also consider 3 contractors willing to give you free information. What are you actually getting? Well, for one, you're getting 3 proposals in 3 completely different formats. So chances are, even if you had a really great set of plans and all the selections were made, you're still going to have wildly different assumptions from the contractors, different assumptions on the quality of work. You know, not all painters' quality is the same. A painter that works on a $300,000 house may not be the painter you use on a $1 million house. And that is across the board for all the trades. And so they have to make an assumption about what you are willing to pay for in order to make their bid look like what they think you want it to look like. Even if you have a perfect set of plans, and a perfect set of plans is one that is that are completed by a professional designer, by an architect, someone who is able to put in all the details so that no value judgments or assumptions are made. All the selections are made. I'll tell you that when we finally get to the point in our process where we actually have a bid day, our tile installer will not give us a bid unless they know exactly which tile is being installed, where, and in what pattern, because all those things affect the cost. And if you're not willing to put in all that information and data in the planning up front, you're already set to fail when it comes to having an accurate bid. But the truth is, most people don't have any of that up there, and they're just supposed to make assumptions. The contractors are supposed to make assumptions about what the client is willing to spend. And there's no way that it's going to be accurate. Another thing that's really hard to kind of know about the different proposals you're getting is what are you being charged ultimately? Yeah, you can say, well, this painter's $10,000 and this painter's $12,000 and this plumber's this and this is this. How do you know that this $10,000 painter is any better or worse than this $12,000 painter? How do you know that the relationship that this contractor has with this painter is based on them running a tight ship? Rather than that painter always knows they have to charge 20% more just because they need to cover all their bases, because that painter has to come back a number of times to deal with problems that could have been avoided through proper setup, organization, and things like that that should go into the planning. Another thing about the free bids is they're not really free. Um, you know, Contractors don't work for free. Most people don't. It's just a matter of who's paying the bill. And the truth is, the people who actually signed construction contracts with the contractors who are giving out free bids, those are the people who are paying for all the free bids that that contractor gave and lost. So part of the markup or overhead that you're paying for goes to pay for all the bids that they lost because they gave away free work. And I don't think that's fair to anybody. Nobody should have to pay for something that they don't value or a service that they were not provided. At the end of the day, the 3-bid method will most likely lead you in the wrong direction and give you bad data, and ultimately result in a project that nobody really wants to be a part of. They might be happy when the work is done because it's pretty, but how they got there was just maybe not worth the journey involved. A lot of times people will hold up the 3-bid method and say, well, they're all doing cost plus, which is to say that each contractor is saying, these are what my costs are, and I'm only marking them up this much. And there's this assumption that transparency is only really available in the cost plus method. And I would say this also has problems, and this also is kind of another rabbit trail leading us away from a truly great project and process. The thing is, clients don't want to be inundated with 10 million line items for all the costs associated with the project, plus the company's P&L. And even if they were, it probably wouldn't make that much sense. And there would be so much context simply not available. It would be impossible to discern what is actually happening, what is actually being charged, and what they are actually getting for that charge. Most remodels are under $500,000, which most professional remodelers will then provide a fixed fee contract, meaning they're not going to break out every little item and every little detail, but they will break out all the pieces that you have control over. Maybe it's this side item like an a la carte, like a powder bath that you're thinking about adding in. Obviously, all the selections, the tile, the plumbing fixtures, the light fixtures, the countertops, the cabinets, all the things that you, again, still have control over in your project. And then they're going to be able to provide the expertise to help you rethink the scope in terms of how to really accomplish your goal and options to reduce cost that are even worth talking about. Transparency is not in simply showing people 100 line items. Transparency is saying, this is how we run our project. This is what our process is to guarantee a certain result. This is how long it actually takes to create a set of plans and work through a design with the client. This is how we walk our client through the set of plans and the selections in a way where they both understand and are able to give feedback and are very confident in the final design. It is explaining the permit process, or maybe lack thereof. It is explaining unknowns that are typically experienced, and by giving and by telling stories of other people's projects and what happened and how it was remedied. Transparency is really spending time to help people understand what this is really going to look like, what they're really going to get, what they can expect. And by continuing to build confidence and trust and manage their clients' expectations. All that is something you can know on the front end. Obviously, companies who are going to invest that kind of time are going to charge for their time. Companies who think that not just building the project, but helping the client by managing their expectations and experiences and educating them and walking them through that entire process, that's what transparency is. That is the company that you want to work with. And unfortunately, the 3-bid method will never, ever lead you down that path. So you ask, what do we do? You do go interview 3 or 4 contractors. You do your research, and you meet with them and their teams, and you find out who you think will be the best fit based on all the criteria I've discussed today.